All right, guys. Well, thanks for having us here, guys. Thanks for having us. You guys, whether you know it or not, you guys are amongst the most famous people in Malibu right now.
Sergio.
Well, thank you, Lee. So just by way of introduction, maybe very quickly, Marcel, you're part of ZURU. You're handling this project. Maybe share in a couple quick sentences what your role is.
I'm the director of operations for ZURU, and I run the Malibu project for the company.
Excellent. Jerry?
I'm Jamie. I do the design of the houses. So when you hear AI design these houses, you can think of me instead of the artificial intelligence or, whatever. So he's the bot. So it's designed by real intelligence. And you put it that way, I guess.
There's an E and an I in your name.
There is an A and I in my name, yes. Yeah. This is a much friendlier version. I should shorten my name. So that's what you say.
Exactly. We're going to get all your AI from now. So we got, this whole thing began for us anyway. I mean, we were in the middle of it. We were hearing that lots are getting bought out by quote unquote a foreign entity. No one knew who that was. And then I think Realtor.com broke a story. Some $65 million worth of lots were bought up and everybody went crazy. It's like this is a foreign invasion that's happening or whatever. Well, first of all, is it 65 million? It's more than that, yeah? I mean, it
is more than that, yeah.
Okay. And walk us through the beginnings of the story. Why Malibu? What the founders thought. Just take us back through the process.
So for Matt and Nick, they tend to spend a few weeks to months a year in Malibu. They actually rent a house out there, numerous houses. And they said last year about this time that, we should buy something in Malibu. So we have a permanent home there. We started looking, but we didn't really find anything good. And then the fires happened. And obviously it paused us looking for a house, but like a few months after, we said, like, why do we buy land and build what we want? Why do we, buy somebody else's house? And that's how it all started. And then at one point we said, look, if we're buying one piece of land and we're going through the effort, why don't we build a few houses and a few wins to many? And that's how we ended up here.
So it really began as sort of more of a personal thing where the founders, Nick and Matt, in this case, have a long-standing sort of love for Malibu, spend a bunch of time here. And they were looking for homes. And then the fires happened and say, heck, let's maybe for the audience, share a little bit about the new technology that you guys are planning to employ to build these houses. Jamie?
Sure. So, our building system, kind of from a compliance standpoint, is considered factory manufactured housing. So in order to get that certificate, you go through all of the same, everybody has to go through the same processes, right? An inspector comes to your factory. The inspections that are done in the field, some of them are relocated to the factory. But zooming out from there, you can look at it similar. People would describe it as modular housing, or, sometimes people hear modular housing, they think trailers, and it's not like that. Like it's meant to be a high-end product. It's meant to be a very customizable solution. Another fear we hear a lot is, they're gonna, come in and ruin the neighborhood with these houses. But, we have to follow the like-for-like 10% rebuild process, which means we're following the footprints of the existing property. We're adding very little to the existing bulk of the property. And, it's a test case for our product because these properties are like quite convoluted. And once you get the septic system and the seawall and how can you bend and twist this house to kind of dance around these things? If we can build in Malibu, we've basically proved our concept, right? These houses are truly flexible. You can work with the design in a way that allows you architectural freedom. It's not a off-the-shelf thing that you purchase and like it shows up and you pick from a catalog. It's not like that. It's a very highly customizable product.
And can I ask you about that actually, because I might be your neighbor. 80 of my neighbors might be you. My concern with one buyer one design team has been, we're going to see cookie cutter housing. And that beach, all of Malibu really, is all about custom homes, a wide variety of architectural styles. That's part of the fun of it. So will there be variety in what you guys are building?
Absolutely. We have no choice, really. Like, we have to, each lot is different. Each seawall is in a different spot. Each septic system is a different spot. Each people followed the code in it, in their own way. There's so many non-conforming conditions that, we need to look at for each house. And so in honesty, they're going to be quite similar to what was there before, strictly because if we make too many changes, we have to go through the coastal commission and we have to do a coastal development. So,
what about materials and styles? Would that maybe be more consistent, still a range, or
how should I find the style? Yeah, sure. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but it's a concrete structural system, right? It's a steel frame with a concrete infill, and then the wall is clad in various different finishes. So from the outside, it looks, you have a large selection of options for what it can look like, but the inside the structure will be concrete walls. And so it sounds very fire resistant. It's extremely fire resilient, absolutely. Way better than what was there before. So you had, I don't know what the percentage is exactly, but most California homes are type 5B construction, right? You have a combustible construction, and our homes will not be that.
It's a good step. I mean, I've been advocating for type 1 or type 2 in every rebuild property. Of course, homeowners don't want to go for that because of the cost, right? They're scared off by somebody saying, well, that's too cost prohibitive. Type 5 is the way to go, so long as you get a totally fire resistant outer envelope. But your approach is going to be, actually, it's affordable to do type 1, or do you see that as kind of venturing into that realm? Or are these homes that you're building, are they really for ZURU to be ZURU regardless of what's going on around and the homeowners what we think we want? It's an opportunity to tell people, actually, type 1 is affordable. I mean, is that something that may come out of this?
It can be affordable, should, right?
I mean, that's our ultimate aim, right? That custom houses that are fireproof are affordable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it will depend on if there's a success on this concept, right? It's like when you design a car, the first design is very expensive, but the more you sell, becomes more affordable, right? So this is what I believe you guys are trying to do. So this is like a concept, proof of concept, which will be more costly because it's the first one in Malibu. But then if successful, it will decrease in cost, which leads to my question, which is so I don't know how many homes you guys are building, like 10, 15. Who is going to be living in these homes?
So some of the homes we're going to retain ourselves for our ownership to live in. And some of the homes we will sell off, or a large percentage we will sell off.
So it's like some sort of like a development exercise, also trying to show that there's a different way of building, right?
Correct. And I think we truly believe that our way of constructing is beneficial to the rebuild zone. Our way of constructing is beneficial to very difficult to get to places, to difficult to build places, because of much of it being off-site and the assembly actually being a quick process. So we're hoping that the houses will actually provide the benefits to Malibu.
And do you think the saving the going through and getting your permit process, the actual construction process will be expedited significantly?
Yes, we do believe so. So obviously anything we do in the ground, which is the seawall, the septic system, they will take as long as it will take for you.
That's the conventional parts.
Because there's but once we reach that conventional level above soil, the house should go up very fast. There's going to be finishes that
Can you put timelines on this?
Yes. So we actually time our builds. Every time we build a house, we time it, and we think it's realistic that it's about 2 months to build that.
So this is 2 months since the design is produced from Jamie's computer, sent to China, built, packaged, shipped, and installed?
No, it does take time to ship, obviously. So we can ship about 500 to 700 square feet per container. So like our houses range in size, right? The smallest one is 1,800 square feet or something like that. The biggest one is
It's almost 10,000.
That's smaller than we thought. A 40-foot wide lot. There was
We have used a little bit of a question because some of us, what we were looking at, they're severely underbuilt, right? They're built in the 1950s and they didn't utilize this, the kind of development ambition that somebody today might be interested in pursuing.
So you're stuck.
So you have a little beach, we're stuck.
If they want to do the plus 10% export stuff, plus CDB, honestly, that could be an interesting proof of concept as well, a smaller house. But yes, maybe to take a step back just for the audience, walk us through how the process works. So you design a house, you were sharing that you have a proprietary system that talks directly to the factory that sort of overlays any restrictions that you might have. And just maybe walk us through what it takes to actually step by step actually build this thing and move in. Do you want to hear the ideal scenario or the realistic scenario?
Which reality?
Yeah.
And so,
and the time idea.
yeah. So there's obviously a dream that a lot of it can be done with a computer, but today we do send out a surveyor. We send out the geotech to do some drilling. All of this comes back. We built the old houses as a 3D model.
Well, if we're lucky, there's existing drawings, and then our life is very easy because we go to the planning commission and say, here's what you accepted before. When that doesn't exist, we have to go off photographs or Google. They accept Google. Basically anything you can find for older houses that is...
The challenges everybody in Malibu.
Yeah, if they recruit website, let's go Newark, you can download those. You got fold them. So still called Apple Maps still has the old ZURUs. Another for real email shapes.
The city provided some aerial photography that's listed through the their tickets to
You can also still find a lot on Apple Maps. The original house epic are still visible on Apple Maps. Google updated very quickly.
And Google Earth, you can go back very true in time. So it's just keep. If you want really high res, you actually have to go back farther because somehow, like 1 year there's clouds over, so you can't see anything. The next year it was like, I don't know, the atmosphere was not good that day, so it's blurry. And you keep going back, and then you find eventually there's a year that's like really crisp and noisy.
So you are strongly inspired by the original house, even in floor plan wise?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first of all, it's much easier to start with something that already is there, right? And you don't have to start from scratch. You know that it fits, you know that it worked for somebody else before. So typically what we do is we take that design and we look for ways to change it for our system, and how can we improve it for our construction system too, right? Like the spans we can achieve with a concrete and steel frame are going to be a lot greater than what people could get with old stick frame construction. So in the 50s they didn't have glue lamps and other kind of performance, and
Curry was a great look at the ocean.
So I'm right now in the process of finding the right builder for my lot up in Big Rock. Are you open to being approached by residents and building houses for them? Or are you, first of all, using your lots for...
I think we should talk again in a few years once we've got some of these done.
Okay.
And then we can look into it.
But then it's only going to be 2 months, so that's fantastic.
So well, I was going to ask, so this is clearly been long in process, developing this whole idea to build housing, probably for a company like this, right? So were you ready to start implementing, or did the Malibu fires kind of accelerate your plans and timelines?
We were kind of ready, but it's always hard to say, yes, we're fully ready, because if you say you're fully ready, you're probably not.
Is anyone ever?
Ready, exactly. So we jumped into this, and in retrospect, I don't know whether we were the smartest people. You just gotta bar down the path. You did, right? And we gotta continue barging down the path, because we are convinced, 100% convinced, that we have a good product and we actually have a solution to rebuild these houses. So, what was your question here?
I just wanted to know kind of the genesis of this whole thing, and maybe if Malibu didn't present this opportunity to get started, were there plans in other places? Are there still plans in other places?
So the history is that
Plans in other places.
you guys are originally is toy makers, which has all these already in place industrialized skills, right? And all the whole experience with fabricating toys, which applied to construction, that's the most difficult part when you're trying to do industrialized architecture.
What I was assuming there are certain logistical advantages too, sir. Like you have the supply chain to supply stuff all over the world and bring stuff around. I mean, that's its own deal where I think a lot of these guys might not be able to be successful.
Yeah, so I think that at the core of what ZURU is, we're an automation business. Yeah, we focus on making things as quickly as possible, as inexpensive as possible, and as high quality as we can as possible, with as little hands involved. So a large percentage of our staff, about 500 team members, only focus on building machines. So when we can peek in our showroom afterwards, but when we every season, so twice a year, you have to come up with a new toys because kids get bored, right? And you get to make machines that actually make these toys quickly and efficiently. And that's the core that we tape to the housing business. How can we use our skill, our ability to build very, very complex machines to actually build parts of houses? And so, a toy might be very small, but houses are large, walls are big, but we believe the principles are the same.
And I read somewhere that for a few years, you guys were building to scale, like 1 to 5. To be good at to scale is something as an architect that you also do with physical models, right? You test it and then you have a few here. So you were doing this for real and now you're able to be brave and okay, let's go for the hardest place
In the universe, so from the hoist to the real stuff. So just going back to, we were just talking about, okay, so you do the as-built, here's a design now in GME's computer that is in your system, that gets sent over and talks to the factory in China. Yeah, and then there is some sort of a feedback loop in iterating that further, and then it starts to get actually produced.
Yeah, so we have our own software. It's called Dreamcatcher. We will replicate the design in there. When you draw it, it actually creates all the parts list, all the machine codes, exactly how the walls, the floors have to be produced, windows, doors, kitchen cabinets, everything. And that gets sent to the factory, and the individual machines will produce their parts, and it all comes together as a kit. And yes.
So the mechanization part comes from Dreamcatcher. Does the permitting part also come from Dreamcatcher? Like, what are you showing the AHJs, like HCD? And
so AHJs of already have a jurisdiction.
Yes.
City of Malibu, in this case.
Or, well, because it's manufactured, it's the state of California.
It's actually Malibu because we work with a co-compliance research report, not just something Malibu set at the state.
Okay. Basically, what he's asking is how are you handling the bulk requirement?
Well, so you touched on bulk, and that's a big issue, right? Easy to get into it. But I'm just curious because, like, the PDFs that you're going to present, so the authority, is that coming from your software, or will you have to have, like, software thing? Marcel asked you earlier if you want the ideal scenario or the real scenario. So because we're somewhat early on in the process, we're doing both in parallel. We're using traditional design tools and drawings and things like that, and cross-referencing them with what Dreamcatcher puts out, because part of this is we also need to quality control Dreamcatcher and make sure that it's not like, inventing laws where they shouldn't be and, giving the wrong instructions.
So review twice as hard as a regular.
Unfortunately, yes, but that means if you're looking at one of these houses later, you can know that it's been scrutinized twice as hard as your survey.
And not to go to information, like in regards to how does the human do it, how does the software do it, and bring those together.
I think of it as I like this, it's like, there's an American tale of John Henry, and it's an industrialization story, so it's about an engine. Yeah, the guy who can build railroad tracks as fast as the machine that makes railroad tracks, right? You're always going to lose as the person, but it's a good effort to,
So are you John Henry building the railroad tracks and also building the steam engine?
Say my, yeah. John Henry walks around and works on the steam engine and then races the steam engine.
What is at least the key with Dreamcatcher, and I don't work for ZURU, but what I see is as an architect, you can draw whatever you want with your AutoCAD, your Revit, and you don't know if it can be built, or how much it's going to cost, right? Or if you're a good architect, you should know. But a lot of people just draw things and then good luck. with this, there's a cost and a buildability attached to anything that comes from the software, which is the step forward, right?
Yeah, we in our software, and it's not ready yet, but it actually tracks your cost life. Yeah, so as you draw, you see where the money goes. You can cost optimize against it. I know out of experience that you draw something and then you give it to a builder and sell it still as expensive as you ever imagined, and then you try to do some value engineering, and you're never going to get it where you need it to be, and you end up coughing out more money. And within Dreamcatcher, you're able to really control your costs.
Talking about cost, there are rumors on the internet that the building cost will in the end be like $28 a square foot. Is that dream or reality?
I think someone didn't know that multiply is not the same as divide. That's all right. Maybe some influencer out there.
No, we have goals of getting the costs down to a very low level. It's probably never going to be anywhere there, but to be fully transparent, these houses will cost, $10, $15 million a pop.
Well, the Malibu, that'd be 10 years to sell.
To build, so like we're to be $3,000 per foot, something like that.
Really expensive homes. So here's the part that it continues to be a head scratcher for me. So you guys are introducing fascinating new technology for the first time in the US, for the first time in the US, and you decided to pick the most difficult municipality to experiment with. You could have bought lots everywhere. It's big. So Vegas is no, like, we're saying, I would say, I mean, if you really wanted to, but you picked Malibu. Is it because you like pain or?
He said it perfectly. It's what so many of us, the owners, fell in love with Malibu. They wanted to build, they want to put themselves through it.
And they have the money too, right?
Yeah, and there's, that's where it started, right? Because it's what, being a Malibu. Who doesn't like Malibu? But we didn't choose Malibu because we thought it was easy. We chose it because we felt it was right. And we're passionate about it. We don't want to be in the news necessarily. I mean, I don't.
Like, if this is not the right place for what we're doing, then nowhere really is, right? Like, by doing factory produced houses, you eliminate so much traffic. You eliminate so much time and energy. You have way less coordination required in the field. If we see this as an opportunity, right, as a proof of concept for what we're doing. If we can build these houses faster, if we can build these houses, to better quality, if we can, it's just the fires, it's super unfortunate that this happened. And I think we want to be a part of rebuilding this environment and making it a place that people want to go to again. It's like.
So it sounds like there is the inherent love for Malibu, and you guys are willing to pay what we call the paradise tax, to sort of be there. But there is also a business justification in the sense that it is a marquee spot to advertise your product, and you don't want to be stigmatized by prefab homes equals low quality or whatnot. You want to compete with the top of the line architects and the best in the world that are building in this jurisdiction and say that, we can be just as comparable, and driving down PCH, you won't know the difference.
As a Reese.
Except they'll be faster than the competition.
You also have to say more difficult question now, right? You also send a message of elitist. Your market is the billionaires, right? There's another fire, Eden fire. So in Pasadena, like, you could do a lot of good things down there, and you chose Malibu, so.
And I think that I'm going to give it an example of Tesla. Tesla initially came out with the Roadster, right? And then they built the Model S. And I'm just going to pause there, because when you look at the cars back then, they were perceived as ultra premium. They were like really good cars, right? And if you had a Tesla, it's like, oh, wow, the guy made it, or the lady made it. And over time, Tesla introduced cheaper models, and they streamlined production that the brand got, I think, diluted, and today it doesn't carry the same name anymore. But if you try to do the opposite, it's impossible, right? What's the prefab company in? There's a few. There's Samara. There's Vegas. The ones that are like boxable. Yeah. Yeah. Like just imagine boxable. You look at it, how it's impossible for that to come to Malibu. Yeah. But you look at it, it looks like box, as the name suggests. Yeah.
It was quite difficult for them to enter the premium market from where they are. As you're targeting early adopters and then streamlining the process, and then
Are you worried at all that, given how sensitive and nitpicky the Malibu consumer is, that there could be an element of this is a Chinese-built home?
You have an iPhone. It's made in China. I think you do believe you have the most premium phone possible, right?
Yeah.
It's made in China. Designed in California.
Mm.
Designed in California, made in China. You'll be surprised at the quality that China can deliver that exceeds the quality that anyone locally can do.
And so if I'm a buyer in 5 years and my realtor brings me to one of your houses, and then they bring this person to Danny's house down the street, construct with traditional methods, will they see a difference when they walk through that house?
They'll see a difference.
In a positive way, or?
In a positive way.
They'll see the premium. This was factory made, expertly designed, expertly built, put here.
and that's his crappy house.
Use crappy house designed by Louis and big.
But just look, anything that can be done in a factory environment is going to have a higher quality than what you're going to do on site.
Yeah.
Right? If you go build a car on site with a welder, it's not going to look the same.
More sustainable, less leftovers, less traffic.
Yeah, I mean, how much time do we spend in making sure the walls are flop, right? I mean, he's got a caulk, you're doing that endlessly, and then the guy's finishing to make sure you put a bead of caulking to hide it.
And then you put a drywall light on there, and it's like, so what happened there? I don't know. They were trying to do the wood frame out there being exposed to the elements for weeks or months.
And there. So for our listeners, so you guys, this is an experiment. So you are building a few homes. This is not a service to the public yet. This is not something that you're not builders. You're more like private developers. Like a rich data Scott, kind of sell half of them, make some profit, or maybe at least your performance will equal at the end of the day. And maybe in a few years, 5 years, this is something that architects, homeowners, we can use and build our homes with.
Yeah. We do believe that the way offsite building or factory built housing can be done, it will revolutionize how houses are built. We think that ultimately the cost is going to go down, quality is going to go up. And I think if we achieve this in Malibu,
You can achieve it anywhere, pretty much. And so you mentioned a little while back that, when this all broke out, you did not want to be in the news. And then we were talking before, it's like, what is your one wish? Is to be left in peace so you can build your house, do your proof of concept and design things. So walk us through this moment. So when you started seeing these, and I just pulled up some that Darren forwarded to me, there were a bunch of these comments. It's like, it should be illegal for foreigners to buy distressed properties under these circumstances, and a whole host of others. This guy's got some angry face emojis and crap like that. So walk us through what that felt like when the news broke out and you guys were reading all this, cracking messages, people with either no information or misinformation or just were generally trying to incinerate folks.
It actually was hurtful. As funny as it sounds, because we tried to do something good. Number one is it's not foreign money. That's money that was generated from our businesses in the U.S. and we're reinvesting it in the U.S. They can send the money overseas, but we didn't. We left it here. We are reinvested. We reinvest in the U.S. housing market, which we know in California we have housing shortage. And we believe if we actually go through this process, we will have a product that benefits so many people. It benefits the economy. So it was upsetting too.
It's easy to get caught up in it, right? Like people will say, when you go to the comment section, that's like
the worst plus bull odors.
And it's easy to get caught up in it. It's hard to fight it too. I mean, it's once it gets.
What are they gonna do? Start responding? They have another 100 comments. So it means that you made it. You don't sleep. I mean, I think we're seeing power words.
You just keep responding.
Yeah. And that's why I said, like, look, in all honesty, we just want to be a piece to these houses, and we're happy doing it.
But I mean, at some level, it also signals commitment in the rebirth of Malibu, right? In the coming back of Malibu, like you're expressing a tremendous amount of confidence in, one of the nicest places in the planet. Not only, you're probably close to 100 million in already, and when you're done and dusted, you're probably another 100 million in. So this is not any mean investment. You're putting in a significant amount of money for the economic development of betting on the beachfronts too. It's betting on beachfronts.
And now you could have offered more money for Daddy's slap. Did a talk after the party.
But no, in all honesty, we didn't go down there with guns and convince people to sell us their houses. We didn't force anyone. People freely and willingly, or did not, sell their place. Most of the people were older people that we bought from. They saw the real uphill battle of trying to rebuild.
Right? It's not going to be like a quick thing. It's about 9 to 16 year timeline, according to some.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, and for these people, it was, when they sold to us, it was a way out from a burden that was crushing the trauma and every area. Exactly. So yes, we bought land, but we didn't force anyone to sell to us. We didn't withhold who we were, right? If you wanted to know, and people willingly sold to us.
It's easy. I think to add to that, when we're done with them, like we would be happy to sell them back.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah.
Sort of the same, correct? I had a question, because you said you are doing prototypes for this product. In the future, the ideal product, would your clients be people who want to build a house in a greenfield space? They don't need to hire an architect. They can just come to ZURU, design it on your own platform by themselves? Or would there still be an intermediary, like a design professional, helping that homeowner interface with ZURU?
I think in an ideal world, right, you give access to home design to everybody. That's a very long-term goal. Somebody has to, on an ownership level, take responsibility for these things on it from a planning and permitting perspective. You need licensed professionals involved.
Yeah.
Strictly because they need to have some kind of oversight as to what happens in the world, right? Like if we didn't have licensed professionals, all of our buildings would fall over it. It'd be a very difficult place.
There'll be like an executive architect coming on, like to handle the liability.
Ideally, in the short term, it works as DC Dreamcatcher works as a great collaboration suite, right? Like you as a homeowner can participate in the design process. You can draw your house, you can move your windows around, and then your architect can come and tell you, well, actually, you're just moved your whole house beside yours, so please start doing that.
These houses now, the ones that you guys are doing, are all designed by you.
Yeah, the Malibu houses right now are not in that so kind of long-term client-facing vision. They're ZURU developed.
Yeah. You mentioned that, those houses still need to be permitted, right? And that needs to be happening in China. So are you going to fly Malibu inspectors to China? How's it?
Oh, so Intertech, the test agency, actually goes there and inspects everything. It's the same thing as if it were built in like one of the prefab factories in Paris or.
The city of Malibu side's the same. I'm sure the city of Malibu will want their inspector to have.
Do they accept this report from this third-party company?
The laws are laid out in a way that they have to accept that. And it goes down to plumbing fixtures. The Malibu inspector is not going to the factory that makes the plumbing fixtures. Yeah, it's the same principle. So you have a rigorous inspection process, a manufacturing process. You have documentation that was tested, that was built to spec. And that's what you give to the city. So if Malibu wants to go and inspect it, I'm sure we're happy to invite them at one point, right? Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. But the process is similar to as you trusting or Malibu trusting the manufacturer of a bathroom fixture.
And I'm just curious, surely not every single house that comes out that factory line needs to be inspected. It's like the inspection lasts for a period of months, or how does that work?
So there's multiple components to it. One is quality inspection. Yes, you have to do quality manuals. You have to have audits. You have to save parts that you actually send to them for part testing, and then they have an inspector that comes out. I think they need to inspect 30%, because then it decreases over time.
You showed us a video before we started of an entire house on a platform being 3 stories.
You shake your table size. It's up to like a 7.8 on the Richter scale earthquake, and it was holding on there. It was looking great. So I think that kind of thing should be really exciting for Californians, and should give us confidence in what you're building.
Yeah, so Matt, the owner that leads the development, he initially said we should provide a 100-year warranty on the houses. It's like, no, that's not the wise.
Pretty generous. And so I wasn't telling about the ocean air in order to see that true limitations is 10 years.
Yeah, in California.
Some years, yeah. 10 years.
But but the 100-year warranty is the basis we design on. Yeah, we want to make sure, and I think as an architect, you know that your house that you design is forever a billboard for your work, right? You don't want to put out a crappy house, because forever it is a billboard for your work. And for us, it's the same thing. Every house is a billboard, and Malibu is a very big billboard. And we want to make sure that even 20, 30, 50 years from now, when somebody drives by, they will not say, what the heck is this? Or it's already gone. We want to make sure that our houses are sustainable, that they are for a very long time, and that, they're a good reference for us.
So realistically, Marcel, when should we expect to see the first one? When are we getting invited to the housewarming?
And do you guys have one picked out? You have to tell us which one, but is there one that you guys want to do first?
Yeah, we have one picked that we went with. We did the modeling of it. We went to Malibu and checked whether they're okay with the
plan?
like for like plus 10%.
And we will with the planning verification.
Exactly.
So you have planning approval already for that one?
We haven't officially submitted it, but they
You had a meeting at the reBUild Center.
exactly.
Like everyone has to.
Yes, exactly. They told us yes, they agree with everything, and that's the first. It looks very good.
Who went to the reBUild Center? Was that you?
I did go twice, but for that meeting, Jamie went.
So realistically, you're anticipating what, a couple of years, maybe less than that, year and a half, 2 years? Was the first.
Well, that's one of the most exciting things about what you guys are doing is, I don't know what the number of homes will ultimately be. Let's say it's as large as 50 or something like that. You might put 50 housing units back on the market in Malibu before anybody else does. And that would be such a boon to our city. And just to see these neighborhoods fill up again. I only wish that you guys had developed Dreamcatcher and this whole system after the Woolsey fire in 2008, because maybe we could have built our city faster this time around.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hope, right? That we can rebuild fast. And that, like, as much as it is something nobody should ever go through, that the house burns down, that if a disaster happens, like an earthquake or something like that, that you're able to rebuild faster. Like, if you have a structural system, a house that actually like works really well, you can order it fast, it gets delivered, and you can rebuild and be back in the house within, a year. That would be an ideal scenario.
I mean, it just feels like, like I've always said, this construction has been generally lucrative, and therefore there just hasn't been that much impetus for change and embracing all the new technologies. So prop tech has kind of lagged. I think you guys are bringing a cool technology to the fore at a time of crisis that can generate great dividends. So we are pretty bullish and excited about that. So there's one message, Marcel, on behalf of ZURU that you want the people of Malibu to hear. What would that be?
Would it be excited for us? No, I don't know. Like, we know that Malibu, we weren't directly affected by the fire, so it's something, hard to come in as an outsider. And we don't know everything. We're learning a lot, thanks to you guys too. And we do want to have a little grace, that people also trust us, that we know what we're doing, and we're truly reinvesting it to Malibu, right? We're investing so much money, like we're at 120 million now. What probably nobody else has done at this point. So,
And creating a technology that will then help future fire victims or future catastrophes.
Yeah, catastrophes won't stop, right? It won't stop. So if there's a solution in place, I think, people will welcome that solution. I hope so. I do. Well, listen, this has been fantastic, very illuminating for us. We certainly miss your best, and we want to be a resource to accelerate your builds. Yeah, thank you. More houses south of CCH, sooner than later.
He's your zone captain.
I think he should be the zone captain there of his